welcome to the Therapy Crouch. We've been so excited to have you on.
It's the Therapy Crotch this week.
Therapy Crouch.
So I'm not a pervert. But I am going to sound like one today.
Like you've deep as a cactus.
Before we go any further, we need to address the tentacles in the room. We've got a whole table full of, would you say goodies?
Toys.
Oh, there's a few baddies in there as well.
There's a few baddies.
Remember, guys, if you're really enjoying this top quality content that we're producing, hit subscribe. It helps.
Hello and welcome to the Therapy Crouch with me, Abby Clancy.
Me, Peter Crouch.
Meet Peter.
Peter Crouch.
Very nice, very nice. Sound a bit horsey there, mate.
Yeah.
I woke up like that.
I need to address the fact that I'm going to be whispering on this podcast. My voice is completely gone.
And this has got nothing to do with the alcohol poisoning from the golf trip, by the way.
No, not at all. No, I'm back in the game. I've not had a drink for 2 weeks. I just had a sore throat last night. But my dedication to this podcast and my craft means that I will be here for the listeners. But the audio experience is going to be slightly different today. It's a little bit more of a whisper.
I'm actually enjoying it. I'm getting shouted at.
No, I can tell I'm pissing you off.
No, it's not that you're pissing me off. I just want you back.
Do you?
I want your normal voice back.
Yeah, it's a bit goony, my normal voice, but it's better than this one.
So we've got an exciting guest on today, which is slightly out of my comfort zone, Ross.
Yeah, I'm
Seeing
aware.
as though I can't even say the word sex out loud.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting with my cousin and my bloody husband. But I think it's a topic that a lot of our listeners write into us about, their intimacy woes and problems and how to address certain things in the bedroom, and basically just an education, a sex education, if you like. I'm quite excited because, I think we're quite old-fashioned.
Do you think I sound a little bit perverted with my new voice?
No, I don't know where you're getting this.
I was hoping I'd
To
know.
pervert
dropped it off,
whisper?
Dave.
Yeah, I just think, Leah, if I was like,
Dirty phone calls.
yeah, like if I'm whispering to like...
Dirty phone. Oh, you'll laugh. Do you remember when my mum's friend auditioned to be a sex line?
She was good at it though.
She was so good at it, but she got rejected.
Why?
I don't know. And it was just a
Too ugly.
voice. It was just a voice, and she had great sex chat.
She did.
She got rejected.
That's interesting, that. Yeah, so it's a bit of a taboo subject, but I think, we cover all bases on this pod.
And we have to throw a disclaimer out there. Any questions we're going to be asking Alex as not a reflection of our relationship, our fantasies, or our
Sexual proclivities.
Well, I'm speaking for me. When I ask, I don't know about you.
I'm going to ask all the stuff that I want to ask.
All right, Trigo.
All right, darling. Well, should we go straight into it then?
Should we get her on?
Let's go.
So, Alex, welcome to the Therapy Crouch. We've been so excited to have you on.
Suitably enough, it's a pleasure to be here. It's the Therapy Crotch this week.
Therapy Crouch, yeah, good one. Now, when we put it out to our listeners, they were ecstatic. They were like, we need to get her on. We've got loads of questions for her. But first, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, can you just give us a little intro into your background?
Yeah, absolutely. My real name is Alix Fox. It sounds like a nom de plume, I know. I have been working in the ins and outs, the ups and downs and the sides to sides of people's sex life and intimacy for about, I think, over 2 decades now, which makes me sound ancient, doesn't it? You know, that meme of the woman from Titanic going, it's been 84 years. That's how I feel when I talk about my career. I'm actually not a medic. I got a degree in linguistics, so I'm an original cunning linguist.
Nice.
I was interested in science and communication, and that kind of fused the two. And then I moved into journalism. And my first big job, was on a magazine that sadly has now gone to the big publishing house in the sky. It's defunct, but it was called Bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like an alt lads mag, although it had like a 40% female readership, and it covered everything weird, wild and wonderful. So lots of body modification, people like tattooing their eyeballs and piercing their cervixes, lots of subcultures and interesting tribes. So I interviewed people who were who are furries, who like to dress up in kind of animal personas. I tried underwater bondage, for example, where I got dressed up as a mermaid, put on scuba gear, went to the bottom, the deep end of a very deep end of a swimming pool, got tied up by a bondage specialist, a Japanese shibari rope bondage specialist. And then when I was immobilised on the bottom of this pool, they took my air supply away, like the ultimate in submission.
How did that feel?
Very, very dangerous. God knows how we cleared that with the insurance companies.
Yeah.
That mag, I don't know.
Is that a real thing then?
But it was soaking wet afterwards. That was funny.
Oh my God.
That was good.
Is that a real thing for people then? That kind of... See, I don't find any pleasure in fear or...
It's a fantasy for a lot of people because...
It's scary enough getting into bed with bloody Peter.
A lot of BDSM is about power dynamics, isn't it? It's about one person feeling completely in control and powerful and like the master or the mistress of the situation. And it's about the other one relinquishing that control and being very vulnerable and being told what to do. And I think the ultimate expression of that in many people's minds is putting your life in somebody else's hands. That's seen as the ultimate in submission. Wow. So I was submerged and submissive. I must underline that I've absolutely trusted the people that I was working with. I knew them well. I had a photographer there as well who was a good friend. We'd done lots and lots of safety checks. We had ascertained a system of head signals because, of course, when I was tied up, I couldn't move my hands. I couldn't speak because we were underwater. So I had to know my body well enough to know when I was going to need air and trust the people I was playing with and working with enough to know that when I nodded, when I gave the signal, they would swim over with the scuba tank and give me the oxygen I needed. Strangely enough, when I was under the water, I actually felt very, very calm and almost euphoric. That's not an unusual sensation to be reported by people who are submissive and indulging in BDSM play. They call it subspace, where you kind of get into this very floaty, dreamlike kind of mood.
Gosh.
But yeah, needless to say, I threw myself in at the deep end very literally with my work at Bizarre, and I was particularly interested in fetishes and sexual expression and what were then considered quite non-standard relationship structures. So people experimenting with non-monogamy, ethical non-monogamy, or we worked with a lot of trans people, and trans situations just weren't discussed as much. The discourse wasn't as vibrant then as it is now. And I realised that it was that sexual aspect of my journalism that I was most intrigued by. Then 50 Shades of Grey arrived like a bomb on the UK literary scene. I mean, I don't know. Have you read the books? Have you seen the films?
I've read the books, I've seen the film, but I watched it in my friend's house, and it was like a censored version, so all the sex scenes were cut out, which was really disappointing.
Oh, there's about 30 seconds left then.
Yeah, exactly.
So apologies for my voice. I'm gonna have to.
You're just gonna have to whisper, Pete, because we need you involved. You need to learn a lot today, so you need to get involved. So just whisper.
Okay, so I'm not a pervert, but I am going to sound like one today.
I think of all of the episodes where you could sound like more husky than a dog pulling a sled, and like you've deep-throated a cactus. It's very appropriate, isn't it?
Apologies. Do you know when you're at the bottom of the pool there?
Yeah.
Is it sexy for you? That?
I have to say, for me, it wasn't sexy. It was more calming, and it was. I was very aware of my own existence, so it was. I was very, very present and immediate in the situation. You can't really think about anything else when you're tied up at the bottom of a pool. For lots of people who are into that kind of thing, it would have been extremely sexy, but it was something that I was doing experimentally as a journalist rather than just as someone with in their private life.
So with that kind of submissive stuff.
Yeah.
So are you to get out of the water and then have sex straight away afterwards?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I wouldn't, because as I say, I was there as a
underwater?
reporter. This is a very extreme example. It would It's not accessible for most people to be able to find a pool, find scuba equipment, and arrange that kind of thing. It was
No heavy petting.
I don't even like getting your head wet. My hair wet in the water, so this isn't one for me. But I was just intrigued. Someone once said a saying. It was a doctor actually.
Yeah.
Who said to me, a soldier going into war is not going in with a hard on. Because their mind's on other things.
Saying that is?
No, he didn't. I don't think he said hard on. But
Cheers, doctor.
I do have questions about the scenario that led to that conversation.
It was talking about
cholesterol.
We were talking about shooting blanks. Maybe?
I was talking about
helmets and war.
I was talking about low sex drive with anxiety.
Right.
And it's kind of, if you're an anxious person and you're worrying, it's kind of hard to get in that mind space of feeling relaxed and
yes, absolutely
aroused and wanting to do that because your mind is completely on other things. And he said you don't see a soldier going into battle horny, basically.
So what you're saying is for you,
well, not for me, for a friend of mine
in the pool. That kind of situation in the pool would be so anxiety-inducing and frightening that you can't imagine it to be sexual. I can understand that. I think for most people that would be the case. If you're someone who's majorly into BDSM and being submissive, though, it can be sexual. This whole article came about because I asked the shibari expert, the bondage guru, who trained in Japan, what his ultimate sexy scenario would be. And he said, I've always wanted to rope somebody up underwater. So we were kind of fulfilling his fantasy.
Wow.
It's not something that people would do, on an average weekend, really, down the leisure centre.
Let's go down to Walton Baths. Get that mermaid tail on.
But even for those people who if that does float their boat or I don't know, sink their ship. Yeah, exactly. They might not necessarily have sex as people commonly understand it, like penetrative intercourse afterwards or something involving genitals. For them, that experience of extreme arousal, extreme excitement, extreme emotional full-onness is enough for them. And in fact, they might need, when they get out of the pool, some aftercare. So they might need making sure that they feel safe. They might need some very gentle handling. They'll need some assistance to come back down to earth after such a full-on experience. But yeah, that was the kind of thing I was doing at Bazaar. Then 50 Shades happened. Suddenly everyone and their gran was talking about S&M. And I had folks like the BBC and The Guardian approaching me going, when we talk to people who are professional slaves or dominatrixes, they say, you're the last that they trust to talk about these things because you've actually been there trying it out and actually getting involved in the community. They feel that they can trust you to represent them honestly rather than making a mockery of them and just pointing a finger and laughing and taking the piss. So I started to write much more broadly for many more publications and people started to come to me for advice. And bear in mind, at this point, I was still in my 20s. I was greener than your average field in a lot of areas. And I was quite conscious that sometimes people were coming to me with problems that I just didn't feel adequately trained to answer. So I did a little bit of training with a young people's sexual advisory charity called Brooke. I went on a lot of courses. I read a lot of scientific papers. I educated myself.
Yeah.
And also I was really honest that if someone came to me with a question that I didn't know the answer to, I was not bluffing about their muffin. I would say, hands up, after I've washed them thoroughly, hands up. I don't know that, but why don't we find out together? Let's work out what's true, what's real. Let's go to good sources.
Because the whole sex stuff is a taboo subject. Like, I didn't grow up talking about it. I would never go to my parents to talk about it. And, even as a young girl, you wouldn't openly speak to friends. I don't know if it was different to boys, but and also the kind of stigma of, you couldn't say you enjoyed certain things or disliked certain things and a fear of being judged. Do you think?
I also think in relationships, if say you wanted to go to the bottom of a pool and tie someone up, if I said that to Abbey, it's going to get blown out, literally out the water. but like it's...
Yeah, because I hate going underwater.
What I'm trying to say is, if, for instance, you said, I want to wear leather or do something different, how do you navigate that? I'm asking for a friend.
Fuck off.
That was my mate asked me to ask that. That didn't come from me.
So you're asking now?
Well, I'm just asking, how do you... Yeah, like if you're in a relationship, you're happy, it's quite... You haven't tried anything maybe too different, but you want to try something really different. How do you approach that?
Firstly, I wouldn't pop that kind of question actually in the bedroom when it comes to game time. That is not something that you want to spring upon somebody in the middle of the in the middle of the action.
I'll tell him now.
Yeah. I think.
Are you saying I'm boring in bed?
No, not at all. I'm genuinely just asking questions. It's not about me and you.
Okay,
Before we kick off, what do you think of this ball game?
I actually happen to have this gym master.
It's only lightly used.
One careful over there.
There are two different people in relationships, and I think one might be, more, like you say, into things than the other, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like
One's maybe more vanilla, one's more raspberry ripple. Yeah.
How do you navigate that?
Raspberry nipple.
Hey, banter.
First of all, as I say, I'd pick when to have your conversation. I think if you can, as a couple or as whoever you're in an intimate relationship with, get into the habit of regularly talking about sex and intimacy so it doesn't feel like something really nerve-wracking and like that conversation necessarily precedes a problem when you bring it up. I think it's really healthy to chat about your sex life even when it's going well as well. A friend of mine, Kate Moyle, who's a brilliant sex therapist, she always says she wishes people treated therapy when it comes to sex and conversations when it comes to sex a bit like going to the dentist. You should be regularly going for a checkup before you develop a massive pain or a horrible hole, so to speak, a gaping hole that needs attention. Yeah. So just having a chat in the daytime, maybe over a cuppa, keeping it relaxed. People often ask me, well, how do I broach the subject of a kink or a fetish? Because it can be really nerve-wracking, can't it? Arguably, I'd say maybe the stakes feel higher if you're talking to somebody that you are in an established long-term relationship with, or if you're living with somebody. Because if they look at you like you've just,
lost your mind.
Yeah, you've just suggested that you'd like to fart in a funnel directly into their nostrils or whatever, they're pulling a face like that. Then
you said not to ask that one.
That is actually a fetish. We can get onto that later. Yeah. Then you've still got to live with that person, and so it can feel it's nerve-wracking. Sometimes saying, "I heard this on a podcast. What do you think about it?" Like using media as a way in can be a genuinely useful strategy. So you're performing a public service right here, folks.
Of course,
Or saying, I read this in a magazine, or even I had a weird dream about this. Anything that kicks it off. Worst case scenario, what do you do if they go, that is disgusting, I've never heard anything so foul, or that's really upset me?
You knock me sick.
Yeah.
Psych. Just joking, babe.
Not never listen to that podcast again.
Can I just put another disclaimer out? All these questions are not related to you and I.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Because people will start thinking that you want to put a bloody ball in my mouth every time you put a lead around my neck or something.
You want to fart on her in a swimming pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that no?
Fart on my head. It's a no-go.
You said there's a chance. Sorry.
Well, if somebody says, no, that really is not my bag, there's still a lot that you can learn about them, and that will help your understanding as a couple by exploring, okay, what they are it for. Yeah, what is it about this that turns you off? Because sometimes it might be that there's just one specific element that they don't like. Like you might say, oh, I'd really like to... you mentioned leather, Peter. I'd love to dress you in leather and tie you up or whatnot. when you get down to it, it might be that they say, oh, just like leather really turns me off. I don't like the smell, or I'm vegan. That offends my sensibilities. So it might be something very specific, and you might be able to find a workaround. It might be triggering from them.
Picture Pete in a pair of leather pants.
We'd have to use a lot of cows, wouldn't we? A whole lot of Frisians.
I'm not into it. Don't like it.
Leather?
On me.
No, absolutely not. You look ridiculous. It's definitely something that wouldn't turn me on in the slightest. And I'm not afraid to tell you that. Is that offensive, do you think?
What? To have your own taste?
A
No,
little bit
not
harsh.
at all. Not at
No.
all.
A little bit harsh. Though.
Yeah, that might disencourage him from approaching in future. Good.
I think it's important if somebody does say, no, I'm not into that, they're not saying, no, I'm not into you.
Yes.
So bear
Good
in mind
point.
that it's not about you as a person, it's just about a particular activity. Sometimes having these conversations walking outside somewhere in the fresh air, I know that sounds really strange.
No, it doesn't.
But taking a conversation that might be awkward outside of your home, so that then when you go home, you don't feel like your space, your house where you should feel safe and relaxed, doesn't have this awkwardness hanging in the air.
I think that applies for a lot of discussions like couples have.
Yes.
Like a dog walk is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it depends if your fetish is dogs, but yeah. If you're into puppy play, yeah.
So this seems like a great place to pause and hear from our sponsors. And if you're enjoying the pod, please hit that subscribe button now, because it really, really helps us.
This episode of The Therapy Crouch is brought to you by TUI.
So Pete, as you know, we love a holiday together, all with the family. And we've been scrolling through the TUI website to try and find something we like, haven't we, babe?
Well, there's loads we had our eye on, but the week in Ibiza is the one that tickles my fancy.
Yeah, I thought that one looked great. It's on the beach. There's loads of swimming pools for the kids. And there's loads of amazing local restaurants for those long lunches in the sun that I love.
That's the great thing about TUI. They have holidays for everything you're into. With TUI, there's more options and more choice.
Exactly, because, you know, me, I want to just chill on the beach. Other people might want to explore or play some sport.
We've got scuba diving, there's tennis courts, there's football pitches.
There's hundreds of destinations worldwide to choose from, so you'll be able to find the perfect one for you and your family.
TUI, you pick it, they sort it.
Book and T's and C's apply. Atoll and ABDA protected. Sorry, I know we keep going off on a lot of tangents there. And
It's natural.
It's quite difficult to not to, you know, it's so interesting, this topic, to not go off. But just please tell me more about what you're doing now.
Okay, so I've spent a very long time writing about sex, learning about sex. I did a bunch of podcasts, one for The Guardian called Close Encounters, where I actually visited people in their bedrooms and spoke to them about their love lives. That explored all kinds of topics like asexuality, people who don't feel inclined to have sex at all.
Is that a real thing, or is that
Yes.
they just don't, they're not into the partners anymore?
Some people can mistake themselves for being asexual when really it's a relationship that's run its course. But absolutely, it's very much an identity to just be somebody who doesn't want to have sex or doesn't want to have particular types of physical intimacy. It's, they've got their own flag, they have their own march. It's a thing. There is we've gone off another
I know,
another
sorry.
So interesting.
It's intriguing though, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it? Human beings come in so many varieties and flavours, and I want to taste them all. So for The Guardian, I spoke about asexuality. I spoke to people who were experimenting with ethical non-monogamy, where they had more than one partner. I spoke to a woman with vaginismus, which is a condition where the muscles in your vagina clamp up so tightly, totally involuntarily, that any type of penetration with a tampon, with a finger, with a penis, it's virtually impossible without extreme pain. But all these things are really important to talk about. So we spoke about them. I did a show for a while for the BBC called Unexpected Fluids, which was a youth-focused comedy show. All about people's real life tales of sexual fails.
Okay.
So listeners would phone in, tell us all the stuff that had gone deathly wrong for them in the bedroom, and then we'd use that we'd laugh about it together. It was very warm and inclusive. And then we'd use that as a jumping off point to educate about sexual health and safety.
Yeah.
I worked for Netflix for a while as well.
What's the most embarrassing one of those, if you don't mind me
What,
asking?
of somebody else or for me?
Both.
Unfurls a scroll. I think the best one I heard, I've dined out on this story for so long. There was a woman who wrote in to say that when she was younger, she was really intrigued about what intercourse would feel like, but she didn't have access to a body-safe sex toy. She couldn't get hands on a vibrator or a dildo. So she thought, well, what's around the house that's kind of vaguely penis-esque? And she settled upon a sausage.
Oh, no.
She actually, the sausage was not defrosted though, it was frozen. And she inserted this rock hard, like frozen
Richmond
hot
sausage?
dog. Yeah, Richmond.
I love them as well. Dickman sausage.
She put this porker right up her pussoir. And I don't, you know what happens if you lick a cold lamppost? Or
Dumb and Dumber.
Exactly. She put this frozen sausage inside her vagina and the walls of her vagina stuck to the sausage.
Oh, God.
She panicked, but she actually thought very
Cup
clearly.
of warm water.
Well, she thought, I'll phone a medical professional. Not a bad idea. Her dad was a doctor.
Oh, no.
Her father ended up putting her in a hot bath and melting the meat out of his teenage daughter.
Oh, my God.
I've got a great one.
She didn't learn a
Sausage
lesson.
butties were never the same, were they?
That's ruined to full English for you now.
I've got a great sex disaster story.
Go on.
Fess up.
Of a friend of a teenage story of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. So they were in a nightclub.
Yeah.
How Pete lost his virginity. No, I'm joking.
Is it Ross?
No, it's not Ross. He's still a virgin.
Yay. Very good.
Virgin on his millionth relationship.
So 2 teenagers hooked up in a club. So they went into the loo. For a little bit of
the sexiest of all locations.
hanky pankage.
Yeah, a bit of knob on the gob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the girl they were so drunk, one of them started to be sick.
Oh dear.
And because one of them
I must be professional here and say, if you're that drunk, having sex with someone is a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of them started to be sick. So then the other one saw the vomit and started to be sick as well. So they were both locked in a cubicle, vomiting on each other, whilst the knickers around their ankles
Class.
and undies around their ankles.
Yeah.
Well, wanted a hunk, got some chunks. Unfortunate.
Exactly.
That's
So you said you're on Netflix now. You're on Netflix show.
Oh, I worked on a show on Netflix called Sex Education.
Oh, yeah.
It's starring Gillian Anderson and Asa Butterfield.
I saw that. I've seen that.
Yeah, have you
I haven't
seen it?
seen it, but I've seen it.
You know
advertised.
about it.
Yeah.
For people who don't, the show spanned 4 seasons. It told the story of a young lad who's at high school, whose mum is a sex therapist. He overhears some of her therapeutic sessions. He learns about sex just from her chatting around the house, and he starts to give advice to his peers at school.
Amazing.
Yeah. But of course, he's also young and dumb and figuring things out himself. So I was a script consultant on that.
Fantastic.
And nowadays I'm doing a PhD, which is still very new. So it's still, the words feel fresh in my mouth. At UCL's Institute for Global Health, doing a project about HIV prevention. Wow. So I've spanned the whole gamut from the mild to the wild, the sizzling to the serious. But that's sex, isn't it? You know, it can be magic or tragic. It can be serious or silly. It can be challenging, or it can be absolutely life affirming. Yes. And I want to talk about all those things.
Yeah, amazing. Wow. Before we go any further, we need to address the tentacles in the room. You know, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see we've got a whole table full of goodies. Would you say goodies?
Oh, there's a few baddies in there as well. You're into the evil ones. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You need to educate us on what you've got on this table.
Okay,
and
so
our listeners.
A lot of the work I do these days involves sex toys. I've been a consultant for all sorts of sex toy companies, Durex, Tenga, who are they're very famous in Japan, but lesser known over here. Ann Summers, Womanizer, if you've heard of them. And I also get sent a lot of toys to test. I have a whole loft. The whole upstairs of my house is pretty much dedicated to things to titillate and stimulate your downstairs area. So
Oh my God.
I brought along a few of the things that I think are illustrative of the most modern trends in sex
Ooh,
toys. So the tentacle. All right. This is an example. It vibrates. Do you want to have a go with it?
Pete there.
Bend over, Pedro.
The monster from the deep is ready to go deep
away.
inside you, Pete.
I can't get that to wear.
Nervous.
How'd you do it?
If you hold down the button, that's usually the way to turn on most toys these days.
Just do what you want.
Oh, shit.
It might have the travel
Don't
on.
be pretend. How'd you turn this on?
Can I just say, I actually don't know how to turn them on, and that's the God's honest truth.
You know how to turn me on, sweetheart.
Abby, that's actually really good feedback.
That's
yeah, there
too
we go.
much for my hand to hold.
Oh,
It's sending like a thing down my arm.
you are such a perfect person. You'd be brilliant.
I'm a complete novice.
Well, you'd be absolutely brilliant then in feedback scenarios. For this is the kind of thing that I think manufacturers need to know. At the moment, a lot of people are making toys more and more powerful. Like they go faster, they go stronger, they judder you to the point where you feel like your teeth are going to come out. And they're so loud, they sound like Jason Voorhees, like revving his chainsaw whilst mowing the lawn. You know? But not everybody wants more power. Some people want delicacy and softness and subtleness.
So does this go inside?
It's designed to be insertable, yes. Only on the front, that one, not ideally
So
on
long,
the back.
though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, some people like a challenge.
Why does it feel?
Do you think that's too long? Hold on.
I love that neither of you so far have said, well, why is it an octopus? Why a
That
tentacle?
was only because my voice is hurting. Why is it a tentacle?
Well, I've got another example here. I'm just censoring this one's nose for the camera. This is from the same range of fantasy monster toys. And would you believe, I think...
Let's have a little hold of him.
I'm going to pass this to you very carefully for keeping the internet happy reasons.
So,
yeah.
What's this?
That's a suction cup so that you
put
can
it on the
attach
wall or
that
something.
toy. Yeah, you can attach it to a chair or
Okay.
a wall.
That's a suction
Yeah.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Or if you were
heard.
wearing a...
Well, no, a suction thing works.
I would...
It's the same with a tom-tom. Just put it on the windscreen.
There are some people who need GPS to find where they're going in sexual terms. That would be quite
Penis and
useful.
suction pluggers, but nothing else.
I used to work at Halfords. I've not heard tom-tom for a long, long time. You're taking me back.
How do you even know that?
A suction
I
pad
feel
that
like
goes on the wall.
hitting you over the head with this.
Why?
It would stick to a capacious forehead. That is also designed so that
Can you stick that to your stomach?
if you're wearing a particular strap-on harness, then it'll stick to a harness.
God, what is
Both of these fantasy toys, in the past, you would only find something like that at quite a niche fetish site. They would,
Yes.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect to find that in Ann Summers, for example. Those are both from Love Honey. Like that's the UK's biggest sex shop, right? And they tell me that sales of these kinds of fantasy toys have gone up 244% this year.
Is that since like Lord of the Rings and all
You're
that?
right on it, Abby.
What's the other thing?
With the other book we mentioned.
Game of Thrones and
Court of Thorn and Roses. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
is that the erotic fantasy literature thing?
You're bang on, exactly that. People
Those
are.
are shit, isn't it?
Because Ross, we were talking about it with our erotic literature.
Throw me into this.
Oh, you're already.
got done for
You're
no-
already deep in that hole.
Or a
Ross.
suction pad. It's better knows about Hobbit Paul.
I think more people because of certain TV shows and books and erotica are into the idea of fantasy and monsters and minotaurs. Yeah.
They're a bit scary then.
Well, for some people, the frightening aspect of the monster will be the thing that appeals to them because it's exciting, to imagine that you're being ravished and taken over by something so much bigger than you and stronger.
No, I want the prince on the horse more.
I love that you're so in touch with what you like and what you don't, but you're still remaining curious. That's a great attitude. I have a feeling...
I'm not a prude. I'm open to all discussions.
I think there's lots of talk about sex positivity these days, which means being non-judgmental and curious about sex and leaning into the idea that it should be for pleasure and play. But I think some people misunderstand that as, in order to be sex positive, you have to be positively up for anything.
Yes.
You don't. You're allowed to have your own tastes, your own boundaries.
And what is the
desires.
type of person doing all of this stuff? Because is it
What,
like
into fantasy dildo?
Yeah, but is it someone in a new relationship
I just got someone laugh. Forgot it was there.
is it like people in a new relationship, or is like Betty and Dave, who have been together for 60 years, starting to be minotaurs and bloody mermaids?
That's a really interesting question. I don't know whether any research has been done, the statistics on what type of people, what demographics are using toys like this. We just know that more people are buying them now. A lot of these kind of toys, because they are imaginary, they're about escapism. Like these are obviously not really like real life, are they? And I have a theory that sometimes,
but neither's a rampant rabbit. It's not real life either, is it?
No, but some rampant rabbits do have like veins and a glands, and they're a lot more. They look a lot more like a human penis than this does.
Okay.
So I wonder.
See, I'm
I have
totally
a theory
clueless.
No, you're not.
I'm
clueless.
totally clueless.
No, I have a theory that I think people are more into toys that aren't like real life when they want to escape. They want their sex life to take them somewhere else and be a way for them to relax and get a break from day-to-day drudgery. And I think when things are hard in the real world, you want your sex life to be as unrealistic and as fantastical as possible. You make an interesting point about rabbits, though. They were a Japanese invention. They originally had a few cousins. There was a tortoise, there was a beaver. I think there was a dolphin as well. But it was the rabbit that won out as the most popular model for that. It's called a dual stimulator because it has the rabbit ears on the outside that are stimulating the clitoris, and then it has the shaft that stimulates internally. So it's 2 prongs, dual stimulation, because you're getting that inside and outside, internal and external stimulation works really well for a lot of people with vaginas. But I think also the cuteness of the rabbit appealed to a lot of people because it didn't look like an imposing, scary dick.
Because I don't
It
think
looked like a
willies are
cute bunny.
particularly nice to look at anyway.
Congratulations, Pete.
No, but you know what?
Do women think that? Because I don't think they do.
Some
Do
women
women go, oh my God, that is a gorgeous penis?
Some human
I
beings
don't.
absolutely do. There's been more of
Think
a
of anything
movement
worse.
towards sex toys not looking like genitals, and there's been a big conversation about how that's great because it means that they're less intimidating for people. More people aren't put off. They're more likely to enjoy and experiment with toys if they don't feel like they look gross to them.
Gross.
But the thing is that I think that has made some people who actually do like phallic toys or who do like they love the look of a cock. They feel like what they're into is kind of being.
Because if you think
being
about
made fun of,
genitalia
yeah.
on a whole, both things.
Genitalia can be a hole.
Yeah.
I've got a question.
They're not good looking things.
They are to some people, and there are companies. There's one called
is there
Real
something
Dick.
wrong with me?
No,
Do you not
not
like
at
the
all.
look of
Not
my
at all.
penis?
No, and I also don't like looking at vaginas either.
Don't ask difficult questions during their lives.
No,
I should just ask.
you know, it's not like looking at a beautiful face or
Yeah.
a nice
I know what you're
body
saying.
Yeah.
as an organism or as an organ.
Yeah.
It's not particularly.
It's no pain at tits, is it?
No, you know, they're not like a beautiful.
There are some people who would say that they are, but isn't that just illustrates the spectrum of human sexuality? We don't all like the same things.
But you know what, for me, right? There's so many kind of like ladies things. Right?
Yeah.
So I think if a lady came out of Ann Summers with a dildo, whatever, you wouldn't look at her and think, oh, pervert. Whereas if a man came out...
No, you'd think empowered.
Right.
Girl doing
if
it for herself.
If a man went into a shop, especially if he had an anorak on, went in and came out with a, I don't know what there even is.
Yeah.
But, you know, with a vagina,
Yeah.
everyone would go, That's perverted. So what
You
my
are
question is,
absolutely correct.
there's a stigma
Yeah.
for men and not for women.
There is. There certainly is in the UK.
Straight men.
Yes, absolutely.
Straight men.
You're so correct. This isn't true all around the world.
Oh, really?
In Japan, for example, it's much more acceptable for a straight man, single or coupled, to use a stimulating device himself.
And are they using the tentacle and the froggy thing?
They're mostly using, there's a company called Tenga, so it's more Tenga than tentacle. There has been a big push by companies recently to try and open people's minds and challenge that stigma and say men should be, straight men included, should be allowed to explore their bodies and experiment with different types of sensations just as much as women should. It's gradually, I think, becoming less verboten, less forbidden, and less considered that a man who has a toy is either a massive pervert who's got a basement full of whips and chains and God knows what, or is a sad loner who can't get a real girlfriend, so who needs a fake vagina. We're starting to appreciate that it can just be a man who's interested in enjoying his body in different ways, or who is familiarising himself with toys because he wants to be in a relationship where toys are part of the playtime. There are also some toys that can bring health benefits for men, or benefits that arguably make them a better coupled lover. So
what's that?
There are some masturbation sleeves. Ooh. So it's like, there's an interesting reaction. It's like a soft silicone textured, like a sleeve that you insert yourself into. I'm demonstrating with my hands. Do you know, sometimes when I do because I talk about sex toys on daytime telly, I'm told that I can't make certain hand signals. Yeah, because they're
do what you want
too
down here.
explicit. Yeah, when I'm doing my S&M X-rated QVC, I have to be very careful about what I do with my digits. But yeah, so they're basically.
It's like a tube.
They're fuckable tubes, yeah, with textures inside. Some of them vibrate. There's a company called Hot Octopus who actually trademarked the term vibrator. They do an amazing, I think it's called the Pulse, a brilliant bit of kit that men can actually use even if they're not hard. So if you're someone who's struggling with erectile difficulties, if you're a disabled person who can't physically get a hard-on, you can still achieve orgasmic feelings with this toy. But some of these toys, some of these devices help train men to be able to last longer, to like enjoy these sensations for longer so that they don't come as quickly.
Oh, I don't want all of that.
They can practice it.
Can't be asked for that.
It's called edging. It trains men to like edge themselves right to the edge of orgasm, and then slow down and then edge back up again. Not only is it's a ton of fun. It feels really good when you finally climax, but it also means that you are able to last longer in partnered sex, which is something that a lot of people want. So toys are good for the boys and for the gals and for everyone in between. There's actually a big boon in eco toys these days. So if you're somebody who cares about the planet, you want to rock your world in bed, but you don't want to like be part of global warming at the same time, then you can get environmentally friendly sex toys. Some of them are compostable. Oh. They're made of plastic that's made out of cornstarch. So once you're done diddling yourself, you can just throw them in the bin and they'll decompose over time in landfill. Others, I actually did bring one with me. This one. Guess what that's made of? Guess what that used to be?
Which way round does this go?
That's a little wand. So it's for external stimulation. You just use it on the outside of your body.
This side or this side?
The grey silicone part, the softer part, is designed to use.
Looks like a microphone.
It does. That bottom bit, though.
This?
Yeah.
Is not plastic.
No. So that toy, the bottom of it is made of recycled aluminium cans. So it used to be a pop can, and now it makes too much. Yeah.
Have you ever been into like a thing? No, like
the arcade, not the
at the
arcade, the bowl,
arcade, so you have to hold the
lucky chair, the lucky chair.
Feels like that.
Or you know those power plates at the gym that were like a big thing about 20 years ago.
Get you to sell you like that.
Yeah.
Moose Thompson to anybody.
But yeah, toys that are good for the planet. back in the day, they used to be they had very valid intentions. They came from a good place, but God, they were awful. There was one called the Earth Angel that was a wind-up vibrator, but you had to crank it for 8 minutes in order for it to vibrate. It was like a mini air raid siren.
Like a Jack in the Box.
Yeah,
exactly, yeah. Cranking it for 8 minutes is beyond a lot of men I know.
No.
And there was another one that was a solar-powered vibrator, had like a little solar panel that you popped on your windowsill in the sunshine, but you couldn't disconnect it from the panel.
Everyone would see it.
Yeah, and also when it was inside you had this like...
Wire.
It looked like you were trying to photosynthesize your own puss. It wasn't a good look.
So, Alex, there's just so much to talk about. Like, I am flabbergasted. I am a complete novice in this area. I'm not a prude, though.
No, and I don't think you're doing sex wrong if you're not doing yourself with everything on the market either. It's about personal preference. It's about, making your own choices. And of course, you're not supposed to know everything that's available in the world back to front. The only reason I know about this stuff is because it's my job. So I'm not here to make anyone feel like an idiot or an imbecile because they don't know everything that's out there. That's why we have these chats.
Exactly. And we're going to have to get you on again because we've gone down so many tangents and we've
literally gone down rabbit holes.
We've literally gone down rabbit holes. But our listeners have been writing in and they've got a few questions for us if you can help us with our agony abs.
All right, bring on the
Sorry, I'm
cue.
doing all the talking. Pedro's obviously speechless. And why don't you try that saliva generator?
I'm going to try them all later.
No, you're not.
Oh yeah, this is
It's
a sachet. It's a fairly new. It's a new product called Twinkle Tongue. It's got an active ingredient that is an extract of a flower. It's the slang term for it is buzz buttons or electric daisies. They're quite popular in cocktails at the moment because they kind of make your mouth sort of feel numb and tingly. Like, have you ever had Szechuan pepper?
No, but I've had pop and candies, anything like that.
Not quite, but it's along similar lines. It makes you salivate a lot more. Basically, if you want, go on.
Will it help my throat?
It would help you produce more spit. There are activities that you may where extra spit can be entertaining and enjoyable. Basically, if you want to swallow a sausage better than competitive eater Joey Chestnut, then that is your thing.
Not really a sausage swallow.
No. You're not a menopausal woman either.
Not really my vibe.
But there's also an issue where women in peri and menopause can experience oral dryness, and it can make kissing and
even vaginal dryness is a big thing for peri. We have a lot of listeners write in about problems with their sex life due to the menopause and being, not as thingy down there.
Yeah, it's because of all hormonal changes. It does mean that bits of you can become a bit drier, which can be uncomfy and also can just make you feel quite self-conscious.
Yes, I think it's more that.
This is designed to help. You wouldn't. This is more for your mouth rather than for your genitals. But yeah, there's lubes, there's estrogen pessaries, there's all sorts of things that are available to help. I hope we do get the chance to talk more.
There's so much.
There's a lot to explore.
We need to set out that we'll get our listeners to write in. We'll go on specific topics without going on tangents.
Yeah.
Okay, can you help our listeners here?
Bring it on.
Okay, hi Agony and Shaggany Ab.
Shaggany aunts, yeah, I love it.
I told my partner this Valentine's Day sex was incredible when it wasn't. Ooh. I didn't want to hurt his feelings or ruin the night. Now he keeps referencing it like it was a huge success. And I don't know how to reset expectations without making him feel awful. Do you ever tell the truth or is kindness more important here, Anonymous?
I think you need to kindly tell the truth. And I think there are ways to do that. This is really common.
Yes.
Durex did a piece of research a little while ago that showed of women who fib and say they've orgasmed when they haven't, over 50% of them do so because they want to protect their partner's feelings, and they feel like unless they say, oh yeah, it was amazing, I came 27,000 times, that their partner's ego will be crushed. The problem that pretending something was absolutely fantastic when it was an absolute shit
It's never
show.
going to be good.
Is unfortunately
Gonna think that's good enough.
It's the same moves week in, week out, isn't it?
But
Just gonna go back in with the same performance.
Exactly.
how do you tell them then?
Well, because you've just set up this vicious circle, haven't you? Where you're not getting a no, you're just getting this feedback loop of you telling them it was great, so they do it some more, and then you don't feel like you can say anything.
But what if the woman doesn't know how to do it?
I think,
Do you know what I mean? Because that's another common thing.
What do you mean?
It's
She doesn't know herself how to achieve.
how to achieve. Like if they're doing something and it's not doing anything.
You are asking for a friend, aren't you, babe?
I'm asking for our listeners. This is what people have asked me to ask. It's not about us.
2 questions here, really, aren't there?
Yeah.
How do you, if you have told a white lie to flatter somebody, and about how good the sex was, how do you come back from that? How do you course correct? And also, if you're somebody who doesn't actually know what brings you pleasure, then how can you find out and then communicate that? So let's take the first question to begin with. I think there are really kind, inviting ways that you can suggest changing sex without necessarily making it a criticism or pointing out that you didn't like something last time. You can say, do you know what? Our sex life really matters to me, or I'm really looking forward to the next time we get together, or I really trust you, which is why I think that we'd be great to explore this together.
Do people say, like, you're confident saying that, but do people, if I said that to Pete, he'd be like...
If I said to her, I really trust you in the bed sheets.
I'd be like, what are you talking
You'd
about?
be thinking, what on earth are you about to drop on me, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you have to find your own language.
Yeah.
But my point is, saying statements like, you did this last time and I didn't like it. It doesn't have to be that blunt. You could say, do you know what would really turn me on? I think if we tried this together, make it an opportunity.
Yeah.
Make it keep it something that's exciting and curious rather than, oh, well, you fucked up the fucking last time. So you better pull your socks up before you take them off again.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, there's ways of framing things, but I definitely think just carrying on pretending everything's great and working for you. I get this question a lot from people who've been in long-term relationships, and some of them have been fibbing for a long time. And lots of them, they've only now realised that they haven't been being honest because they've not been being honest with themselves either. Or especially for slightly older people, when they were younger, they were taught, particularly as women, that sex was all about pleasing their partner, and it was about performing sexuality and sensuality, and it was the pretense was kind of more important than the real thing.
Yes.
Whereas now they are coming to realise that their pleasure does matter too. And just pretending that everything's great is not the best way to have genuinely great sex.
Yeah.
But they're worried about telling their partner that because they'll realise that they're worried that their partner will think, well, you've been fooling me for years. What else have you lied about? What else is broken in our relationship?
It's true.
And to those people, I sometimes think that don't let perfect be the enemy of good. And something that is good to do is maybe what I call scapegoating, which is where you use a little white lie and a little excuse to put things right. So we know there are lots of legitimate reasons why something that worked in the past for you in bed might not work now. Yeah. If your hormones have changed, pregnancy, menopause, if you change your contraception, if you're stressed, if you're tired, if you're taking medication, if you've had kids, there's a million things external to your partner being a bad shag that might mean that the way your body responds to something or the way your mind responds isn't the same as it used to.
Yes.
So you can say to your partner, do you know what? I've noticed that this thing that we've been doing for years I used to love, I think maybe my body's changed and it's not responding in the same way. So maybe we could try this together.
Yeah.
And then you're not making the problem then, you're making the problem external to you and your relationship.
Yeah,
and
that's a
can
good
help
tip.
a lot of people.
That's a very good
It's not
tip.
entirely honest, but it might get you where you need to be.
And it avoids hurting the feelings, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a good one.
We've not spoken about how to explore yourself. I think throughout your life, no matter what your relationship status or your age, I think solo pleasure, masturbation, self-exploration is always important, partly because your body does change and your situation does change. So staying literally in touch with yourself is really important. Knowing what turns you on your own terms, in your own time, is a really good basis for being able to communicate that to somebody else.
Okay.
Although I would caution, I think some women, the way they make themselves come or the way they experience pleasure when they're on their own actually doesn't work when they're with somebody else, because when there's a second person there's different input, isn't there? You're like, you're hearing them say things, you're looking into their eyes, you're taking in their smell and their body. Like, all of that stimulation can actually be a bit overwhelming for some people. Yeah, they almost need to concentrate on their orgasm. So you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you if the way you fiddle and diddle yourself in private when you're on your own doesn't translate to partner sex. It's just, again, different flavours of having a good time. So so long as you're enjoying yourself and so long as you're staying open-minded about how to enjoy yourself and how your partner can experience enjoyment, you're doing it right.
Okay. Went on.
Well, like that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's very interesting, but we've run out of time. And we're going to need you on again. I've got millions of questions here from our listeners.
Oh, but that would be brilliant. If you go too long, it can start to chafe. So
Yeah.
maybe we have another session.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed that. So, Alex, and sadly we've run out of time.
We've got to wrap up.
Yeah, we've got
as somebody who is very pro condom, I'm always into wrapping it up. Sure.
And as you said before, if it goes on too long, it starts to chafe. So
Exactly. Yeah.
we're going to have to leave it there. But we would love you to come back on again, because I know we've got a few goodies to give away for our listeners.
We do. Hopefully, if you feel this conversation has been something that's opened up lots of questions and possibilities for your audience, I'll come back on, I'll lube myself up for another conversation, and we can be... with these initial chats, it always goes all over the houses. There's so much to chat to talk about, but we can be a bit more focused.
Yes.
Settle down, class.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the meantime, I feel like I have given people a lot of tantalising tastes about what is out there to buy and try if they want to. But I appreciate not everybody has got the pennies and the pounds that it takes to pound yourself with some toys that are several hundred quid. So
700 quid?
Several hundred quid.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I've got some goodies to give away.
Okay, amazing.
I will. What shall I do? I tell you what. We'll put the details in the show notes.
Yes.
But I'll run a little competition over on my socials.
Okay.
And then maybe next time I see you, we can be, every time you tune in, you can have the chance to win a little boom banger banger for your bedside drawer.
Amazing. Fantastic. Alix Fox, everybody. Woo!